So, so this is like a classic pairing for tobacco. But I thought I have quite a bit of knowledge about wine and food pairing, what goes well together, and upon the taste you get from pipe tobacco, I can give very, let's say, classic suggestions for pipe tobacco and wine pairing. So let me get a sip of coffee. And I didn't prepare myself. I thought I'm just gonna improvise because I do it every day at work. I pour wine for people. I'm not a sommelier, by the way, but one of part of my job is to pour wine for people and explain to them what goes well with what and stuff like that. So let me start with English blends because that's what I'm smoking now, so I can think about the smell and the taste. And I have to relight my tobacco. Mm. So there are a lot of English blends that have this kind of yeah, I would say barbecue association. No, the smell makes you think of barbecue when you open the tin, and they tend to taste like that. Um, so, like when I take a sip of this, it makes me think about like really hearty, um, juicy meat. There was a website, I think Satlift, made this a survey or something where you clicked what kind of flavor you like, and you would click, let's say, steak, and it would take you to English blend. I mean, their English blend. So a classic pairing for steak is, of course, probably some of you know, Cabernet Sauvignon. And so for English blends, I would suggest Cabernet Sauvignon. And now, what Cabernet to buy? Because there are so many of them, right? So, well, honestly, I wouldn't recommend the Cabernet Sauvignons from the New World. So nothing from Napa Valley or Oregon or Washington or even Texas or Mexico or whole South America like Chilean Cabernet, which is great, or even Cabernet from Argentina, which is also very good, or other parts of South America or Australia. I would go with Cabernet actually from France, so like classic Bordeaux Cabernet. And here, you can look it up on internet. I would go with the left bank of Bordeaux because those wines from left bank of Bordeaux are based on Cabernet. So most of the wine, I mean, the bigger part of the of what is in the bottle is Cabernet Sauvignon. The rest will be probably Merlot and some other grapes. So try pairing English blends with Cabernet from France or from any other old world country like Spain or Italy. Another pairing for English blends, I would suggest Spanish wine, which is a classic Spanish wine made with Tempranillo grape, which is Rioja. You spell it Rioja, and you you can buy three different or even five different Riojas. So um, don't buy. So try to find Rioja that is reserve. It means it's aged in the barrel for a longer time and develops a lot of like smoky, smoky, meaty flavors and aromas. And really, when you drink it, it makes you think of game almost. So this would go really well with English blend. Also, you can drink Grenache. In Spanish, I think it's Grenacha. That's what they call this grape. And Grenache doesn't matter if it's from the old world or new world. I would say it's a wine that will pair well with English blends. And the last, I could go on forever about this, but the last one that I really, really, really would recommend is Italian Barolo, Barolo. So Barolo. Yes, Barolo. Naturally, it's a wine that, it's made from Nebbiolo grape, which is very hard to grow, to harvest, and stuff like that. It's aged for a long time, and it develops this really nice earthy tar tobacco smells and flavors, and this is perfect for English blend. So yeah, if if you want to know more, you can message me or about other pairings or which specific wine to buy, because there are so many options. But in general, if you buy any Barolo from, like you see in Whole Foods, I know Trader Joe's, or I know what might be your liquor store, uh, you can be sure it's going to work well. Let me just relight my pipe. When you talk a lot, pipes go out very fast. Now let's go to Virginia, and I'm talking here about straight Virginia, the one that is citrusy. Hey, that's what I really like. So for Virginias in general, I would go with Chardonnay, Chardonnay from New World. So let's say Napa Valley Chardonnay, Sonoma Chardonnay, Oregon Chardonnay, or Australian. So anything from the world, and uh, and it would be very good actually if it was oaked, because the Chardonnays from the world, they tend to be very buttery and oaky, and Virginias are very, let's say, I mean, so buttery, oaky, and acidic. Chardonnay is naturally an acidic wine, and it will handle the acidity that is in Virginias. Virginia has sort of that acidity when you smoke it. Sometimes might get this sour. I mean, it's not necessarily sour, but sour feeling. This will go well together. So you can, yeah, try to look for a Chardonnay that is oaked. Um, Plus, the aroma of the oak really goes well with the pipe smell, I tell you. Uh, another another wine that goes well with Virginia is the Hungarian Tokai. Uh, Tokai, I think it's getting its popularity in the United States, but this is really creme de la creme from Hungary. Really beautiful. It's a sweet wine. It's not too heavy, and it's very acidic. Really, if you pair it with Virginia, there's nothing better. But in general, I would experiment with white wines, let's say, because Virginia being light, uh, so it's a nice pairing. Another wine that really will go well with Virginia would be the German Riesling, and here I would look for one that is sweeter. So like, don't buy the. Mm, Actually, I could. I never did it myself, but you could experiment, like buy Riesling Cabinet, which is I think is the driest, and then I have the different levels. From there on, they have different levels of sweetness. So that will go really well. And then again, there's nothing better like a Virginian beer, but we're talking about wine. So, okay, Virginia in general, white wine, Chardonnay oaked, English blends, heavy red wines like Cabernet, Barolo, Rioja, and so we covered Virginias, we covered English blends. Let's go to maybe something more smoky, Orientals. Something that's more Oriental. So here I would go with, if you're smoking really like something that is like Star of the East by Cornell and Deal. That really pairs well with port wine. And here, to be more specific, I would buy port from the New World made with Zinfandel grapes. By the way, Zinfandel goes really well with English blends, and yeah, and as well as the Oriental blends, because the sweetness really can handle the heavy smoke, the creamy heavy smoke of yeah, the wine can handle the creamy heavy smoke. Sorry, um, and it adds a lot of flavor. Really, I mean, if you of course don't have access to port made from Zinfandel grapes, try any port. There are so many options. You can buy the Sandeman, I think it's called, Six Grapes by Graham's. A lot of good stuff out there that really pairs well with Orientals. And or if you don't want to buy port, go with any sweet wine. Uh, but actually, that's not right. Don't go with any sweet wine if you're smoking Orientals, because some sweet wines like Bordeaux sweet wines, they very light, and port is heavy wine, has a lot of body. So if you're smoking Oriental with a light sweet wine, it will overpower the taste of wine. And what we want to do, is to make them cooperate with each other, let's say. And then let's think about aromatics. And here's a problem, because the aromatics have such different flavors, and it's not working well. And yeah, different smells and tastes that it's hard to find pairing for them. However, if you're smoking an aromatic, mm, of course you can. Okay, so a classic pairing for sweet wine is to find. I'm talking about food. Is to find a dessert or any food that will have less sweetness than the actual wine. So, actually, I know a perfect pairing for an aromatic blend will be Pedro Jimenez, which is the sweetest, the heaviest sherry. It's almost like drinking sweet oil. So Pedro, so Pedro, and Jimenez, Ximenez. If you can get a bottle of that and pair it with an aromatic that's especially sweet, you cannot go wrong. So, and actually, the Pedro Jimenez wine, the sherry wine from I think southern Spain. I don't remember exactly. Really will go well also with Virginia. I mean, it might, if you're smoking like a heavier Virginia, that's a really good, really good pairing. Uh, so to sum it up, um, English blends, Cabernet, Tempranillo, Barolo. I mean, there are much more, but let's stay with that. Virginia Chardonnay, New World Chardonnay. You can, if you have a lighter Virginia, try Sauvignon Blanc. Doesn't matter from where, actually. Maybe from New Zealand. Nice. If you have some, yeah, it has this nice peach aroma. That will go nicely. Then what was Orientals, port, and aromatics, Pedro Jimenez. Okay, so I've been talking already for a long time.